What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to go ahead and change the differential fluid on the 370Z. Usually you're supposed to change the differential fluid within 30 to 50,000 miles of owning the car or driving the car. So I think it's time. And also, I've been getting this weird noise from my differential, and it's actually been doing this for a really long time. I just never really took the time to go ahead and check it out. I'm trying to change the fluid or anything. So I'm hoping this really fixes it. And if not, I most likely have a bad diff. We're going to be using this fluid here. It's called Redline. Concept Z, local to Arizona, had it in stock. I was looking everywhere online to see where I could find specific fluid. I was going to go with Mobile 1, but I decided to go with something that was recommended by a lot of people. They also had a sale, and that's another reason I picked it up. It's like 20 bucks for the quart, and they were selling it for $12. So I had to pick up two of them. You need 2 quarts because I believe it takes about a quart and a half in order to fill it up. I did order a part. I'll go ahead and add it in the description so you guys can go ahead and pick it up. It is like a tube for you to be able to pump it into the differential, because you need to make sure that you unplug it and then you go ahead and start filling it up until it's completely full. I'll go ahead and show you guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it and get started on this project. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and start working on the 370Z today. I'm going to change out the diff fluid. If I have time and everything goes well, I don't run into any issues, I'm going to go ahead and do the oil change as well. And usually when you do this, you want to make sure that the car is on a level surface. And when you have it at a slant, the fluid will tend to go that way, leaving it unlevel, and you want to make sure it is level when you're filling it up. Right now I have the car like at a slant, so I have my driveway, it's going down. I have lifted from the back, and in the front I have it aired up. So I might have to lift it up a little bit more in the front, because it does look pretty leveled out for the most part. Let's see, like it looks a little bit more lifted in the back than the front. So we'll have to go ahead and lift it up in the front a little bit more. So here's the diff right there. It's that one. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to move the arms to see if it's making any noise. See, I'm moving this one right now. I don't hear any noise. And I'm just checking it just to make sure. Okay, so I don't hear any noise coming from either side, so it looks like it's fine. And I didn't hear any noise on the car when it was cold. It would only make noise when the differential would get hot after driving for a while. So I feel like it's just the fluid, so we just need to change it out. That could distinguish the sound. So right now nothing is making noise. All the boots look fine. If these boots rip and the fluid, well, it's not fluid but it's grease that's in there, if it comes out, it could start making noise with that as well, because it's not lubricated enough. I do know that it looks like my diff bushing did go out. Not sure if you guys can see it right there. So this fluid right here, if you guys can see that right there, the diff bushing is up here, right there, and all the fluid pretty much came out from there. This is not coming from the differential, it's coming from the diff bushing, so that's not good. We're gonna have to go ahead and replace that. Let's go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and start loosening the bolt. There's one right here, but first you want to go ahead and loosen the one on the side, which is this one over here, right there. You want to make sure you loosen this one first, just to make sure you can loosen it to be able to put the fluid back in there. Because if you loosen this one, there's really no point, because then you're not going to be able to put the fluid back in there. You can't put it in from this one here because it's just going to leak out. You need to make sure you do it from the side. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll put the fluid back in and see if everything works.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Alright, so I decided to go ahead and lift the car just because I feel like all the liquid wasn't coming out, or the fluid. So right now I lifted this one, I'm going to lift the other side, and we're going to see if more fluid actually comes out. Yeah, not sure if you guys can see that, more liquid did start coming out. There, you can see it right there. Now it started coming out more, because it did stop, and now more's coming out. The bottom plug, you do have to go ahead and clean it. If you look at this thing, it's super filthy. It's like a magnet, so it picks up any metal. And if I put it on here, see all that dirt right there? It's a lot of dirt on this thing right here. Oh yeah, look at that. Disgusting right there. Oh, whoa. See all that came off? No bueno right there, dog. Fuck. See how it took a whole new shape right there? Look at that. Before it looked like it was like a freaking oval right here. Now it looks all nice and clean. I actually haven't done a differential change ever in my life because I've always had like a CVT. I used to have an Altima. I had a G35, but I actually never did the oil change on that one. And then I also had I had my Maxima and Altima G35. So I pretty much had two front wheel drive cars. Didn't ever change the differential just because they don't have one. So yeah, only the G35 had a differential, but I didn't keep that car for very long. I had too many issues with it. And if you guys saw, the fluid color was really dirty. It was like brown pretty much. It wasn't even gold anymore, so it should look gold. Alright, well there you go. Make sure this thing's completely clean, and then you can go ahead and install it back onto the car once it fully drains. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and start pumping it in. I ordered this from Amazon. It was relatively cheap. I ordered it from Amazon because the parts that were close to me usually wanted to charge me, I think it was like $15. I got it on Amazon for like 10. I'll link it down below, that way you guys can go ahead and purchase it. So I saved a few bucks just by ordering it on Amazon. So there's that. And then you are pretty much going to put this tube in here. Make sure it's on there good so it doesn't fall off. And then I'm not sure if it's gonna tighten on here, but you don't really need to tighten it on here. Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it fits. There you go, it's working now. So yep, you're just gonna go ahead and pump it in there. And then you're gonna keep pumping it until it starts overflowing or coming out of the differential. That way you know it's full. Sounds fine, doesn't sound like anything's grinding. I already took out all the fluid out of the container and I put it in this one here. It pretty much filled up all the way, and then a little bit of excess came out. It pretty much was 1.5 quarts. Since I'm already here, I already have the car jacked up, might as well do the oil change at the same time. So I'm gonna finish that up. Let's go ahead and start doing the oil change. Once we finish that, I'll go ahead and drive the car to see if it makes any more noise. Alright, so when I took the wheel off, the car was still making that noise. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I feel like it's the wheel bearing. Now, one thing that I did is I jacked up the car on both sides. That way I can try to move the axles and everything to see if it makes any noise. And I really couldn't hear anything except for one point, which was over here. On this part right here, it's making noise. So when I move it up and down, it makes like a small clunking sound. And I think it's gonna get louder once there's weight on the car. So this is the only thing I could figure out. Let me see if I could try to duplicate the noise for you guys. So there's the axle right there. So there's the noise right there. It did sound like it was metal that was making the sound. So I'm sure that when the car is rotating, it's gonna be making that kind of sound. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this bolt right here that goes in the middle to see if that fixes it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna go ahead and have to replace the actual bearing itself, the complete bearing, and that's a lot of work. You have to pretty much remove all this, take this nut off, and then you can go ahead and replace it. You also have to remove the brake calipers. There's just a bunch of things you gotta remove in order to replace it. So we're gonna be using this. We're gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit loose. Now it's not making any noise anymore. Okay, there. So as you guys saw, it was a little bit loose. I'm not sure how that happened. Probably just happened over time. But yeah, you can see how much I went ahead and tying it up. So let's go ahead and move it. Now it's not really making any noise. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and check the other side just in case to make sure it's not loose, because then we're gonna go ahead and tighten it up because it may be coming from both sides and not just one. Alright, so I went ahead and removed this wheel. Everything was perfectly fine, and then the nut was really tight on there. I didn't see any issues, no noise or anything, so it was just the other side. So let's hope this fixes the issue, because honestly I was just about to replace like the whole wheel bearing, but I got lucky I didn't. I already started taking the caliper off, so it's a good thing that I checked that before before actually removing everything else. So let's go ahead and go for a drive, see if that fixes the issue. Alright, we're driving the car around for a bit so you guys can hear how it sounds. I still hear the noise a little bit. I don't feel like it's as loud as it was before, so I guess it did help. Actually tightening that nut. I did hear it a little bit, but it wasn't as loud. I feel like I could have messed up the bearing because I did hit a pothole a while back, and it really did mess up the wheel. I had a little bit of a rash on my wheel as well, so I think that impact did mess up the bearing quite a bit. So we'll drive around. You have to pay really close attention. It's a really small sound. It's like a chirping sound, so it's really hard to hear it. But I know that I didn't used to have this sound before because I used to drive the car, I used to daily it, and I never heard this sound. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to conclude the video. Hope you guys found it really useful for those of you that are interested in doing the differential fluid change. Like you guys saw, it was super easy, not much to it. All you have to do is remove 2 bolts, let it completely drain out, make sure it's level, re-add the fluid, and then you're pretty much good to go. So other than that, the noise that was coming from the rear, I'm still not entirely sure where it's coming from. I feel like it is the axle and or the wheel bearing. I will go ahead and make another video on that. I plan on going ahead, removing the rotor and the caliper. I'm going to check if there is any playroom. If there is playroom, then I'm going to go ahead and replace the wheel bearing. And if there's no playroom, then I'm going to go ahead and actually remove the axle itself. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up with a wire brush, and then I'm going to go ahead and lube it up to see if that eliminates the noise. Because it does sound like metal to metal contact, so I feel like it could be the wheel bearing hitting on the axle on that part, on the inner part. So let's see if that fixes the issue. But other than that, guys, that is going to conclude the video. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. I'll leave it somewhere right here. That way you guys can go ahead and check me out. That's where I usually post most of my stuff. Also, I will be doing something very interesting to the 370Z. It's something that I have never done before. I'm pretty comfortable with doing it on my own. I watched a lot of videos, a lot of reviews, a lot of things that people have been doing. So it's going to look really sick. It's going to go on the wide body. It's going to go in the rear. I know I said I was going to paint it and or I was going to go ahead and wrap it, but I decided to do something a little bit different. So I hope you guys really are looking forward to that. I am. I think this looks super dope. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.